So, hi and welcome to this podcast. I'm here with Lydia, and she is a chair of Safe Children Sweden Youth, and she also has been Swedish representative for youth in UN Women in New York very recently, but she is also a human rights graduate and once my classmate.
Yeah.
So I'm very thankful to have you here and to be able to be in this amazing office, but also this amazing podcast professional room. So thank you for this opportunity, and I'm very excited to talk a bit more about you.
Thank you for this opportunity. I feel very
Yes.
famous.
Maybe there are also a few more things that you're doing on the side right now that I didn't mention.
Currently, my job takes up most of my life. So at the moment, I'm working or I'm focusing my energy on Save the Children Youth because there are so many different aspects to the job that maybe aren't seen on social media or LinkedIn that take up a lot of time. But previously, I have volunteered a lot with the UN Association, where I was traveling around Sweden and giving lectures to high school students and to university students about the UN. And that's also where my interest deepened for the UN systems, I think. Um, it was a program that the UN Association here in Stockholm was running where they educated us on the topics that the UN has as their core principles, and then they gave us tools in order to communicate well to different people and to different types of publics. And then when they would get a request for someone to go and lecture at a school or something, they would send one or two of us. And I think that's also helped a lot with my public speaking because my current role involves a lot of public speaking. But yeah, so at the moment, I'm working full time with Save the Children Youth. And sometimes I do other side things, but actively, it's this full time.
It's actually amazing to, and I think it's very important to have focus on something one so that you can produce more results in this field.
Yeah.
And I'm also very interested in all of the parts, like some background to what we see on social media
Yeah.
To this job and to this role, because it seems like it's quite a lot of responsibility and pressure, but also could you maybe explain a little bit more of the background? Like, how did you get to where you are right now?
Yeah. Okay. I think we can start with where I started studying, I suppose. I think that's where it started. So I did my degree at Malmö University, also with some courses in England, and completed a bachelor's in human rights with a specialty in children's rights. So beside the bachelor's degree, I did an extra course in children's rights. And that's where I started finding maybe my passion for the specific human rights field, which concerns children, and all the conventions and legislation that follows with that.
And just to pick up on that, if I'm not wrong, you finished university in 2 years, right?
Yeah, well, so that I wasn't planning on that, but I started my education in England. I wanted to do a degree in global studies and human rights at the University of Essex because I'm partly British, so I have a right to study a bit cheaper there. And so I started my degree, but after a year, I realized that I wanted to go back to Sweden and continue my education here. So I did that, and I started from year one at Malmö University with you and with the rest of the class. And then as I was finishing year one, I was chatting with a friend about my previous education at Essex, and they said, well, don't you want to finish your degree quicker? And I was like, I never thought about that, but yeah, I'd love to. And since the second year in the human rights degree in Malmö is exchange studies or an internship, I was able to transcribe my education from England as my exchange year. So I just did the reverse as to what most of people did. I started with my exchange year, and then I continued on with the mandatory courses. So I wasn't planning on finishing the Malmö education in 2 years, but it became that way, and I still studied for 3 years in total, but at 2 different universities and at a different pace. So I went from the first year to the final year, and did all the base courses. So I actually quite enjoyed it because I did all the human rights courses in order instead of waiting a year to continue. Yeah, and then I continued on and did my thesis and graduated. So it was
and
a bit
now
unexpected.
you're a chair of
Yeah.
Safe Children.
Yeah.
While I'm writing my thesis.
Yeah, and that journey started with, well, I think we've all heard about, you need to volunteer to gain experience, or in order to get this job, you need like 3 to 5 years of work experience. And we're like, how on earth do I do that when I just started studying? And a lot of people within our field and social sciences, they go for volunteering opportunities because that's a way that you can easily find an opportunity where it gains you some kind of experience, but you don't have to go through this eternal recruiting process and eternal rejections. So I volunteered with the UN Association and then found Save the Children Youth through a website called Volontärbyrån in Sweden.
I've been there.
Yeah. So I found the organization there and I became a member, and I started a digital group called RBUF React. And RBUF stands for Rädda Barnens Ungdomsförbund, which is the name of Save the Children Youth Sweden in Swedish. And I started a digital group where we react upon children's rights news and children's rights violations, and then post online about it. So it was a digital group. I started it with 2 of our classmates plus another girl. And after I had started that, I started becoming more involved in like the national activities within the organization, which involved an activist weekend, which is basically like a weekend away with other members, and where you learn about a specific topic. So Save the Children Youth is a membership organization for people from 0 to 26, because we don't want to set an age minimum of when you can start speaking about your own life. And so if you want to come as a 5-year-old, you can come. You probably bring your parent, but you can come. We have a board of members who lead the organization strategically. And that's why I'm called chairwoman, because I lead that board and therefore the whole organization. But I'm the only one that is paid. The rest are volunteers. And on that board, we have members from the ages of 12 to 24 sitting. So we really believe that every child has the right to speak up and have their interests listened to. So I started going to these weekends away and found out that there is this national board. Okay, that sounds interesting to me because I'm like, I want to make a bigger difference for children. And I'm soon graduating from university, finishing my thesis. What's next? For me, as many other bachelor students, it's the best option is probably like a master's, because that way you might get paid more in the future. Might. Or you just might study something you love. So when I was finishing my degree, I was unsure what I was going to do next, because I think we all are at that point in life.
Very true.
And so I was applying to master's degrees. I applied to this board, to this specific position. And then I applied to an internship too. And I had heard that this position was available because the current chair was quitting or was ending their mandate. So I only have this job until October, where I then have to candidate again, or not candidate if I want to do something else. So you're voted in democratically. So So you have to have a speech in front of all the members and motivate why you should be in this role. And so I did that in September 2025. And I was the only candidate for the job or for the role. And so I got it. And I think also I got it because people were like, okay, this seems like a good person. Let's go with it. So I got the job, started in September, and I've been doing it ever since. It's been quite a roller coaster because honestly, I didn't know how much influence I was going to have. I have a lot.
I have a lot.
Yeah. I have to lead most of my colleagues and what they do. Even though I don't have like the daily operational influence or oversight role, I still get to lead where our organization is going more broadly. And so it's not really a normal 9 to 5 job. Some days I'm in New York speaking, or I'm in another city in Sweden speaking at a conference or moderating or representing our organization in whatever opportunities we get. Some days I'm here at the office doing the boring like computer stuff. Some days I'm with our members and having fun on a weekend away. So it's a fun job because it's never the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not a corporate style.
No.
That much. But you were also saying a lot that there is quite an influence that you hold. And I was very interested. Did you have of course, you had some prior volunteer experience and studies, but specifically within leadership sphere, did you have something like courses or mentorship that would help you right now, or did you just have to dive into it?
I've always known that I like to lead, and I've done that at like camps or other activities where I maybe lead a group or like take more initiative than others, but I've never done a course in leadership or like have done a specific mentorship program to become a leader, because honestly, I think those are great, but they will never teach you as much as you need to learn than actual experience. So you can do as many courses you want, but if you don't actually get the opportunity to be in a leadership position, it's all going to be theoretical and it's not ever going to become into practice. So no, I went in just without any leadership experience really. But I had a great team of colleagues that supported me and gave me a great introduction to my role. And I'm still learning, honestly. We have a policy on what I'm supposed to do, how I'm supposed to lead, and I have a mandate from our members and what I'm supposed to achieve in this year and what we're going to do as an organization this year. But besides that, I've just been learning as I go. I've been speaking to a lot of colleagues here at the Save the Children Sweden and other organizations. There's a network of chair people of different youth organizations in Sweden. And then I have taken a course in leadership while I've been in this role, just because I feel like I need more of the theoretical knowledge. Also like finances, like that's a field that's quite foreign to me.
That's not human rights.
I guess it's a human right to like have control over your own money, but we didn't learn that at university. So a lot of these things I think I've just picked up as I go. And some days I'm like, I have no idea what I'm going to do, but I find the person that can help me. So I think a lot of the leadership is also, it involves a lot of delegation. That's a core thing that I've learned throughout the year. I've learned that I can't do everything. Everything sounds really exciting. Some things sound quite boring, but a lot of it means that, well, I'm only one person. I can't do it all. So I have to delegate, and I have to delegate to other members who want to speak or other members who want this opportunity. And as a good leader, I think that you're not supposed to take all the credit. You're supposed to uplift your other members. You're supposed to uplift your colleagues. And so I've been learning to do that. I'm learning great loads of communication and how you communicate well. So I think a lot of it just comes from actually being in the job. Yeah.
Yeah. And you were also mentioning the part of traveling and having very different schedule. And I've seen that yesterday, as I understood, you came from Umeå, from North Sweden,
Yeah.
and you were moderating the conference.
Yeah.
So how was it? And how much do you have to travel right now in this position?
This term, I've been traveling loads, and it's been fun, but it's a lot. So the conference I was at yesterday was a conference held by Save the Children North, the northern region of Sweden, and so they wanted to do a conference on. Let me find the right term for it in English. How children experience society today and how society needs to change in order to make room for children and to not discriminate them because of their race, their socioeconomic background, their sexual identity, their religion, and all of these things. So the conference was involved a lot of different panels on speaking about how in Sweden they're gonna lower the age of criminality to 13, so putting 13-year-olds in prison, and what does that mean for how we're seeing children nowadays, or how Save the Children brought they have come out with this new report in 2026 that talks about that every 8th child in Sweden lives with economic difficulties. And what does that mean for children here in Sweden? Because we think, well, there is no poverty here in Sweden, but some families don't have enough to feed their children. And how does that affect a child? So it was a very interesting conference. I had the honor to moderate it together with another lady from Save the Children. And it was my first time moderating, but a great deal of fun. You have to know the schedule. You have to keep people on time. You have to like stop people talking after a while if there's yapping too long. But yeah, so I think travel-wise, it really depends on what season of the year it is. Now we're going into a spring-summer season where there's a lot of political events, given that we have elections in September. We have a political event here in Stockholm called Järvaveckan, where a lot of politicians are speaking. We have one in Gotland called Almedalen, where all the political parties will be present, and therefore all civil society will be present because we want to influence their decisions. And so there will be a lot of travel around this time of year. And then when opportunities come, I have to decide if I want to travel or not. Of course, I have the freedom to say no, but I also want to make the most of all the opportunities that we get as an organization. So yeah, so one of those was then, and that was one I was not even expecting. That was to be a youth delegate to the Commission on the Status of Women in March. It was in March at the UN. And that, I think, was a dream come true because I've always wanted to go to the UN headquarters.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, we study about it, we hear about it, we see it and on the news. And then when you are actually there, you realize how different a world it is because it's a world of diplomats, suits, loads of activism, but diplomatic activism, and a lot of like networking and so many people everywhere. And you realize how many people have the same dream as you. Like, I want to work at the UN. So as a youth delegate, I was able to speak at different panels on young people's perspective.
And to have you on screen.
Yeah, I was live streamed. My grandma in England was watching me and during the middle of the night because like you could watch it anywhere. So there were the rooms were huge. They were filled with people. And that's a whole other topic, like how the UN interprets young people is very different to how we do it here in Sweden because you're young until you're about 30, 35 years old. To me, that's not very young anymore.
Yeah.
I feel old.
Me too.
And I'm not 30 or 35. So it's like, yeah, it was very interesting to also see how they approach the topic on youth inclusion. Because in my organization, we talk about people that are up to 18, because that's what a child is according to the Children's Convention. But then youth can be anything from 15 to 25 or 17 to 35, depending on who's talking. So that was very interesting in how like different cultures, different people, different organizations define, have different understandings or interpretations of like definitions that I thought were like objective or like were absolute. So that was a very fun experience.
Yeah, but also the pressure-wise, it must be so much pressure to be on the screen, to be live streamed to your grandma.
Yeah, and I've never. When I was younger, I was really terrified of speaking in front of people.
And
I
now
was
it's your job.
shy. I did not want to be in front of the screen. I hated like even like Zoom calls or back in the day Skype, like having to do video calls. No way. And to believe that I'm doing what I'm doing at the moment that's quite a big step for me personally, but I've grown used to it. And I think after a while, you just forget people are even listening. But then you're asking yourself, why are they listening to me? Like, what do I have to say? And that's just, I think, for everyone to learn that everyone has something that they can contribute with in a conversation. And you should have the opportunity to say that in front of people and for people to listen. And so it's just a question of like, okay, I'm just going to go up there. I just have to believe that I have something to say and then just go for it. And of course it's scary, but I think it's worth it.
Yeah, it definitely is. For experience and for life.
Yeah.
No FOMO.
Yeah.
I really like that you're doing this, you're working in this topic. It's very huge, and I feel that children are the future of for all of us, basically, and we are also the ones who have to bear the responsibility now to clean some mess that happened and are happening right now. So
yeah, and I think besides being the future, I think children are also the present, because everything that we decide, everything that we do affects them. They just don't have the voice to act on it. We haven't given them the power to speak about it. We haven't given people under 18 the right to vote. And we haven't given them as much as authority as maybe they want. So we have a huge responsibility to make the world the place that they want to be in and grow up in. So I think we need to start talking about them as if they're the present too. But also, of course, they're the future adults, future policymakers. But yeah, there's a lot that we do today that we maybe don't take into account of how children are experiencing it.
Yeah, I really like your phrase or your advice, if I understood correctly. You were saying that for children, you should speak up, and for adults, you should listen to what children say, because that's important. And I think it summarizes kind of some part of this discussion, because that was such a quite clear message into the topic of children in this area.
Yeah, you talk a lot about or at least we talk a lot about tokenism in the work that we do, and how there's a lot of tokenism in society, which basically means that children are included in different topics, but just as a symbol of, okay, we have a child on stage, or we have a child that has been photographed for this convention, or like there has been a child that has said, oh, this is nice, but they haven't actually ever been included in the process of coming up with laws that like involve children, or speaking about a topic about children's experiences of Sweden today, we don't actually put a child on stage and give them a microphone. So we have to learn to involve them and to give them actually the power to speak. Because, we adults need to listen, and we need to listen much more than what we're doing at the moment. And we actually need to pay attention. We don't just zone out when we listen to a child.
Like listening to music.
Yeah.
That's not the music.
No.
That's a real life and problems.
Yeah, this is a person. This is a person that has their own experiences. They are the only experts in their own life and their perspective. So we should give them a chance to speak and to be heard.
I really love this conversation, and it's very interesting to talk with you about children, but also what are your maybe future plans and aspirations? What would you like to achieve both in your role, but also just in general, maybe experience personally or both professionally in the future?
That's such a good question. I think I know I can't have this role forever because it's a youth organization and I'm becoming an adult. Or I am an adult.
Are you the oldest now?
I am the oldest.
That's why you're the chair.
Not necessarily. I hope that the next chair is, much younger. And hopefully I wasn't chosen because of my age, because we work against ageism in our organization. But yes, I am the oldest on the board. And I feel old when I speak to a lot of members because I'm like, it's been a while since I was in school. I don't know how it is to be a child in school nowadays, and how can I speak on that topic then? So I know I'm not going to be in this role forever, but I know it's opened a lot of paths, and it's helped me to network a lot, to experience a lot in a very short time, and to like take a step out into the working field, and to know like what you can do within civil society. I think it's a very challenging time for civil society actors because, at least here in Sweden, we are receiving less money from the government. We're shifting towards a more right-wing government, which wants to focus more on crisis response, but not a lot on development work. And I think that's a big shame, because I think that there's a lot that needs to be done in just, bettering Sweden as a whole, and civil society has such a big role in that, and we are not receiving enough money to do it. So it is a challenging world that we're living in, but I also know that human rights work is even more important nowadays because so many countries are ignoring that topic and focusing on themselves. And so
focusing on violations of human rights.
Exactly. Focusing on what they want, what they need, and not caring about other people. So whatever I do next, I want to work with people, for people, and protect their basic human rights, whether that is within children's rights or more broadly with peace work or diplomatic work. I don't know what the future holds, but I intend to go back to university at some point. I don't know if that's Malmö or somewhere, but I want to study more. And I also just want to try out new jobs. I think when you're young, you should just try everything that's given to you. And then if you don't like it, I mean, what's the worst that can happen? You can quit.
Yeah, you can risk now.
Exactly. So I will have this job as long as the job wants me. But we're a membership organization and we're not autocratic, so we're democratic. And I'm sure that, I want more young people to take charge of this organization. But I will have the role as long as I have it. And then we will see. I don't have any concrete plans, but I plan to continue within the fields of human rights and political science. And you will see on my LinkedIn wherever I end up.
Yes. And it's very interesting since you were talking, but also we all can see that now world is a lot with all of the human rights violations, and it's for some people it can be that well, there is not opportunities in this field, especially maybe right now, or there are a lot of cuts in funding, so that maybe I should just like requalify and try to do something that would secure me a little bit better. But at the same time, some people have belief in this sphere that it's now even more important to actually take lead and to lead changes, because if the system is falling out, it means that we need to create better system. So what do you feel for yourself? Are you the other part?
Hopefully, I'm on the side of, okay, we need to create better systems. And we have a system that has worked so far. And there's so much positive that has come out of human rights legislation. But it was also created at a time where we needed to create like a basis after World War II. You know, we need to like reevaluate how we think, and like, of course, every human has a right to life and right to these basic rights. But what do we do now? We know that, but we're not enforcing it.
Not protecting it.
We're not protecting it, or states are not protecting it as they should be doing. Civil society is dragging the very heavy load of trying to protect it. So there needs to be a wake-up call, I think, for a lot of leaders of the world to reconsider their actions and how they are treating people and how they're also speaking about people, because there's a lot of negative rhetoric going around when it comes to the basic, the core worth of a human, and how a leader can say, oh, we are going to eradicate a whole society because we want to win something or we want to gain something. That's not humane. So we need to change. We need to upgrade our systems, yes. And we need to make sure that we're still fighting to change the way that people see humans of any part of the world and respect them and give them equal dignity.
So important.
Yeah.
And almost lastly, I was very interested, what do in this world, but also having some of your struggles, what gives you hope and what gives you motivation to move forward?
I think partly I have hope, and I have trust in that every person has some good in them. Every person has the potential to be better, and they have an intrinsic goodness in them. I think that helps me act in a way where I believe in people. I am religious, so I have that trust. But I think, knowing that like we are not alone, like we're both fighting for our human rights, we're both fighting for a better world, and we're so many people on the whole planet that are doing that. I think that gives me hope, and it gives me like the motivation and the courage to fight another day. And I haven't given up yet. I hope I don't. But we have so many great people to support us, and I think that's also very important that we find the network of people who share the same values and share the same like core belief, in that every human has equal worth.
Yeah, together we hold power.
Exactly.
And lastly, for you, what would you what would you advise yourself in the future, or what would you like? How would you maybe support the future yourself?
I would like the future me to give advice to my present self. I love the phrase, no one can do everything, but everyone can do something. I think that's very important because we try to do so much, but we maybe burn out sometimes because we try to do too much at one time, and that then our work lacks quality. So I will send that to my future self, and I just hope that she is loving life. Whatever she's doing, if she's still in this field doing something else, I hope she's loving life, treating others in a way that everyone should be treated. And hopefully the world gets better.
Yeah. We really hope that. And we'll try to do something to make it happen. Yeah. So thank you so much for being here today, or inviting me to be here today. And I wish that your support and your advices for your future self, but also just hopes, will turn real, but also that the world will be better for all of us. Thank you so much.
Thank you.